What's up, guys? We are back with a full slate of MLB action here on Monday, June 3rd. Not a bad Sunday out there, guys. Not a bad Sunday at all. We finished things off 4-2 overall. A lot of weird, wacky games, like it seems like happen on every Sunday. We got the under in the Minnesota-Houston game, even though that was looking really bad early on. It ended up coming through almost no problem. The Orioles minus 132, that was a really weird game. The Orioles lost in that one. Despite getting 15 hits, they only scored 3 runs, so I guess we take the L on that one, even though it feels like the right side. The Brewers minus 1.5 came through for us, so that one worked out. The Royals minus 122. They used a 3-run ninth inning to get the win for us in that one, so we'll definitely take that. The Yankees also had a big ninth inning coming through for us, getting the win. They scored 4 runs in the ninth inning. The Phillies, unfortunately, couldn't get the job done in extras against the Cardinals, so a 4-2 day on a Sunday, we'll definitely take that. We'll take 4-2 days all week long. Let's try and keep this momentum going heading into the rest of this new month and heading into a full Monday slate. First, guys, do me a big favor and hit that like button. It's a great way to show some support for the channel and all the work we put in every single day. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe. It's 100% free and can keep you from missing out on these picks. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and join our free email list and check out our top confidence plays on all the major sports. Comment below with all the bets you're looking today. We will give you our best advice on all of them. We respond to absolutely every single comment, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our final picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game today. We've got the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. The Brewers come into this game fresh off of a 6-3 win there over the Chicago White Sox. Have to be feeling pretty good about that and about the fact they've now won 5 games in a row and have a 7-game cushion now in the NL Central. They're killing it right now, guys. They're going to be handing the ball in this one to Bryce Wilson, who has yet to figure in a result this season. He's going to be making his 5th start out of his last 5 appearances. He did have a long bullpen outing there against the Red Sox where he went 5 1/3 innings, gave up 2 earned runs on 6 hits. So not a terrible outing, kind of similar to a start. I mean, honestly, like 5 1/3 innings, that's pretty long. The last time he was on the mound, though, was back on the 29th, and he didn't look great, guys. I mean, he was going up against the Cubs. He went 4 innings, gave 6 hits, 3 earned runs, but 4 runs overall. He walked 2 and only struck out 1. Clearly did not have his best stuff out there. He struggled with control at different times this year, and yeah, in general, guys, we're not super high on him out on the mound right now. I mean, just not looking amazing. I mean, the dude's not terrible. Like, this isn't a disaster like slam the other side if Bryce Wilson's on the mound, but just not somebody we're super high on. We're also looking at the bullpen numbers for the Brewers. Very happy with their bullpen. I mean, they're 3rd in the majors with a 2.60 bullpen ERA, so nothing wrong with that. There's also nothing wrong with the Brewers offense, guys. Over the last 5 games, they scored 6, 4, 12, 6, and 10 runs respectively. Like, this is one of the best offenses in the major leagues. They've scored 304 runs this year. That is 2nd in the majors. Team batting average is nearly 260. Also 2nd in the majors. They're actually 1st in the major leagues right now, guys, in on-base percentage, getting on base at a 335 clip. Like, that is definitely going to work. We see William Contreras not only being a brick wall back there behind the plate, but also batting 316 on the season. Like, lots of positive things happening for the Milwaukee Brewers, and they're hoping they can keep it rolling here going up against a Phillies team that comes into this game fresh off of a rare loss. They lost 5-4 in 10 innings against the Cardinals, so not great, not what they were looking for, but at 41-19 on the season, they can afford to take a loss or two. I mean, they've got a big cushion there in the NL East, so things are looking pretty good for the Phillies, and I'm sure they're stoked to be handing the ball to Zach Wheeler, who's 6-3 on the year with a 2.32 ERA. He's coming off a great start against the San Francisco Giants, a team that's been hitting the ball well lately. He went 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, no runs. He struck out 9 and walked 2. Unfortunately for him, it was a game we saw the Phillies end up losing 1-0 in 10 innings, so not great there. He hasn't been getting amazing run support over his last 5 starts, but in general, guys, he's looked very, very good. He did have that weird start where he clearly wasn't ready to go against the Marlins, but other than that, he has looked dominant over his last 5 starts. And in general, this year, he's been very, very good. And looking at the Phillies bullpen, it's also very good. They're 7th in the majors with a 3.02 bullpen ERA. So once again, absolutely nothing wrong about that. You've got a top 10 bullpen in the majors. That's very, very good. This offense is fantastic. Obviously, they only scored 4 runs in Game 3 of that series against the Cardinals, but over the last few games, they've scored 4, 6, 4, and 6 runs respectively. So very, very good there. We see everybody hitting the ball well pretty much for them. I mean, no complaints there. This team is 1st in the majors in runs scored, 4th in the majors in on-base percentage, getting on base at a 330 clip. Like, they're a very good slugging percentage team, too. Their slugging percentage is .412, which is 6th in the majors. This is just an excellent, amazing offensive team. No notes for that, and they're going to be playing at home in this game in front of those rabid Phillies fans, so a lot of positives to look at here for the Phillies. And looking at the numbers for this game, guys, weirdly enough, we don't see an over-under number posted yet, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see what the over-under ends up being on this game. But right now we see the Phillies at -210, the Brewers at +176, and looking at the spread for this game, we actually don't see there's no spread announced for this one either. So we're going to have to wait and see. This game definitely has a solid chance to end up in the pinned comment. I don't think I'll be taking the Phillies -210. This might be more of a Phillies -1.5 situation, but we'll just have to wait and see. Like I said, I mean, the Brewers are a very good road team. They're 18-13 on the road. The Phillies are 24-9 at home, so that's something to definitely take into consideration. We also see Milwaukee is a big over team. They're 34-22-3 to the over, so that's going to make me lean towards the over in this game, probably once that number gets posted. So we'll just have to see. Don't have all the information yet, so keep a very close eye on that pinned comment. Things could definitely change overnight or into tomorrow, but right now, guys, we're leaning towards the Phillies to win this game in some fashion and slightly towards the over. We just don't have all the information on how those bets are going to pan out. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the New York Mets going on the road to take on the Washington Nationals. We see the Mets come into this game fresh off of losing the last 2 games in that 4-game set against the Arizona Diamondbacks. They lost 5-4 in that one, so that's not amazing. And yeah, just in general, guys, the Mets are having a pretty bad time. There's already a bunch of talk swirling about how they should be sellers here before the trade deadline, so we'll see what actually happens. But at 24-35 in the year, not exactly the season they had in mind. They're handing the ball in this one to Taylor Megill. He's 0-2 on the year with a 1.69 ERA, coming off of a dazzling performance against the LA Dodgers. He went 7 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs, while striking out 9 and walking 1. And while the Dodgers haven't been their normally dominant offensive selves lately, that is a premium outing. And yeah, guys, this is only his 4th appearance of the season, and he's faced the Brewers, the Cleveland Guardians, and the Dodgers, and he's still sporting a 1.69 ERA. The dude's not getting any run support, don't get me wrong, but he's pitching really well right now. And in general, there's a lot to feel good about the Mets bullpen. Their bullpen is 5th in the majors with a 2.88 ERA, so absolutely nothing wrong with that. Their offense, though, guys, not amazing. I mean, 4, 5, and 10 runs over the last 3 games doesn't look bad, but there's a reason this team is having trouble winning games, guys. They're 18th in the majors in runs scored, 19th in the majors, batting .236 as a team. Like, that's pretty bad. I mean, their slugging percentage is not good. Their on-base percentage is just over 300, so not a lot of positive things to say about the Mets offense. I mean, we don't see anybody hitting the ball particularly well for them right now, so yeah, lots of question marks there, and they're going to need to score some runs going up against the Nationals, who just won 5-2 against the Cleveland Guardians. That was in Cleveland, so a solid win for them, but they are only 27-31 on the season, so definitely some work to do there. They're going to be handing the ball in this game to Mackenzie Gore, who's 4-4 in the season with a 2.91 ERA, coming off of, I mean, honestly, guys, to me, it looks like at least he gets credit for 4 very solid starts in a row, including an outing against the Phillies back on the 18th, where he went 6 1/3 innings, gave up 2 earned runs. That's not bad at all. His last time out, he dominated the Atlanta Braves, 5 1/3 innings, 10 strikeouts over 5 1/3. Like, that is excellent. 6 hits, only a single earned run. He did give up 2 runs overall, so not, perfect out there, but yeah, that's back-to-back very solid outings. 2 starts in a row where he's given up only a single earned run. That will definitely work. He's throwing the ball really well right now. The Nationals bullpen is not amazing, but it's not a dumpster fire. I mean, they're sporting a bullpen ERA of 3.65, which is 18th in the majors, so not terrible, but obviously not great. And looking at the Nationals offense lately, and just in general this season, it hasn't been amazing. I mean, over the last 5 games, they've scored 5, 2, 1, 3, and 7 runs respectively. So I mean, 7 runs there, that's great, but that's not a number you see them putting up often, guys. This team is 26th in the majors in runs scored, 24th in the majors in batting average, 24th in the majors also getting on base at right around 300. Like, this is just not an elite offensive team. And looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we see the Mets at +104, the Nationals at -122, and we see an over-under in this game of 8.5. Guys, I'm not too interested in the side in this game. If you're really forcing me to bet the side in this one, I do tend to lean towards the Nationals at home. I mean, they're only 10-13 at home, so nothing special. The Mets are only 11-14 on the road, so also nothing special there, but that's not like a nightmare road record. But what we're really interested in this game is the under. I think both of these offenses are going to struggle to put up runs against these starters and kind of at least against these bullpens, especially against the Mets bullpens. Neither team has a very strong offense in general, so I think this over-under should probably be at like 8 or 7.5, probably 7.5 if you ask me. So we are definitely going to be taking under 8.5 in this game. I know there's people down in the comments asking for more information on the over-unders, and this is definitely an under spot for me. This is going in the pinned comment. Moving right along here, guys, we're looking at the Baltimore Orioles going on the road to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. We see the Orioles come into this game fresh off of a loss in Game 3 of that series to the Tampa Bay Rays. That was that super weird loss that we were talking about where they had 15 hits and only scored 3 runs and managed to lose 4-3. So whatever, stuff like that, guess it's going to happen. Kind of annoying, but I bet the Orioles aren't too annoyed at the fact they're 37-20 on the season. They're handing the ball in this game to Grayson Rodriguez, who's 5-2 on the year with a 3.53 ERA, coming off of a serviceable, we'll say, but not great start against the Boston Red Sox. I mean, he went 6 innings, gave 7 hits, 4 earned runs. He did strike out 10, so definitely give him credit for that, and he got some of his control issues under control, but man, I mean, if you're going to walk 5 batters and only allow 2 earned runs, I'd rather you do that than walk 1 batter and give up 4 earned runs. But in general, guys, over his last 5 starts, he's looked pretty good. He did have that terrible start back on the 23rd against the Angels, but his last few have looked very good. I mean, he hasn't faced the toughest teams, but there's a solid start in there where he gave up no runs over 5 2/3 to the Yankees. So that's definitely something to take into consideration. And looking at the Baltimore bullpen, I mean, they're right around league average, but a bullpen ERA of 3.48, there's nothing wrong with that. This offense is an amazing one in terms of power numbers, at least. I mean, they did manage to somehow have all those hits and only score 3 runs yesterday, but before that, they scored 9, before that 3, before that 6. So this is a team that can definitely put up some numbers. Gunnar Henderson is an absolute monster out there. Fun to watch him at the plate. I mean, 19 home runs, 42 RBIs, batting .268 on the season. This team is 7th in the majors in runs scored, 2nd in the majors in slugging percentage. They're up to 9th in the majors in batting average, batting nearly .250 as a team. Like, this is a very solid offensive team, and they're hoping they can stay on track here, keep scoring some runs, going up against the Blue Jays, who have hit a little bit of a hot streak here, guys. They've actually won 5 of their last 6 games overall. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Pirates. They're 28-30 on the season, and yeah, I mean, obviously they've been taking on some kind of weak opponents. A 3-game series against the White Sox, then a 3-game series against the Pirates, but still, we're going to give them credit for playing well against who's in front of them, and they're going to be handing the ball in this game to Kevin Gausman. He is 4-3 on the year with a 4.14 ERA, but his last 2 starts have been excellent, albeit they were starts against the White Sox and the Tigers, but still, we're going to give him a little bit of credit. I mean, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run allowed on 4 hits. That will definitely work. His start against the Tigers was fantastic. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run. He struck out 10 in that game. Like, that is a fantastic outing, and while he has had some kind of struggles this season, I mean, at times, overall, he's been pretty good. So definitely looking at him as at least a plus level starting pitcher, or at least slightly above average. I mean, maybe not, maximum plus, but we are a little bit concerned about the Toronto bullpen, guys. They're 25th in the majors with a 4.00 bullpen ERA, so that's not amazing. And the Blue Jays offense, while it's come alive a little bit lately, is also not great. I mean, they're 24th in the majors with 231 runs scored, 20th in the majors in batting average, batting .234 as a team. They are 10th in on-base percentage, so I do think their offense is going to skew a little bit like towards, positive regression or positive progression, if you will. But yeah, their numbers lately are looking better, but it's against some pretty bad teams. So we'll have to see what they do against a real team here in the Baltimore Orioles. And looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we see the Orioles at -120, the Blue Jays at +104. We've got over-unders in this one of 7.5 or 8. We see Baltimore's a very good road team, guys. They're 16-8 on the road, which is very respectable. They're also an over team. They're 29-2-6 to the over. Toronto is 14-13 at home, which isn't amazing. They are under team. They're 32-25-1 to the under. Guys, to be honest, I'm not super interested in this over-under. If you wanted to take over 7.5, I guess I could maybe get behind that, but not too much. I mean, so basically, it's so close, guys. I would take over 7.5 or under 8. So probably shading towards under 8 on that one. But in terms of the side on this game, I'm definitely looking towards the Orioles in this one on the road to bounce back from that weird game. But in general, guys, this isn't one of my favorite spots. I think this is likely to be a very, very close game that could go either way. Next on the docket, guys, we got the Detroit Tigers going on the road here to take on the Texas Rangers. The Tigers come into this game fresh off of a series tying, I guess we'll say, series tying win there against the Red Sox. They won the first and last games of that 4-game series to split it 2 games apiece. They're 29-30 on the season, so not too bad, but also not amazing. They've got a lot of work to do in there in the AL Central. They're handing the ball in this one to Tyreek Skubal, though, who's been amazing this year. He's 7-1 on the season with a 0.01 ERA. He's coming off of a great bounce back start there against the Pirates where he went 7 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. So he seems like he's back on the right track after that weird start against the Royals where he gave up 4 earned runs in 5 innings. But yeah, seems like he's back where he is supposed to be, or at least where he's used to being this season in general. And the Tigers' bullpen has been fantastic this year. They're 4th in the majors with a 2.81 bullpen ERA, so absolutely nothing wrong with that. For sure, plus pitching staff they're running out there in this game. The problem for them this season in general has kind of been their offense, but it hasn't been terrible. I mean, they're nearly a league average offense. I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit generous there. They're only 23rd in the majors in on-base percentage and 18th in the majors in batting average. So, like, not amazing stuff out there in terms of, like, not a lot of Tigers players that you're terrified of seeing at the plate. But in general, guys, they're looking a little bit better lately. I mean, they've scored 8, 3, 3, and 5 runs in their series against the Red Sox. That's not terrible. Give them a little bit of credit here for swinging some at least semi-warm bats. They're going to hope they can keep that rolling here going up against the Rangers, who have now won 5 of their last 6 overall. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Marlins, shutting the Marlins out over the last 2 games of that series. So they're now 29-30 on the year, handing the ball in this game to Nathan Eovaldi. He is 2-2 on the season with a 2.84 ERA, and he has looked fantastic over his last 3 starts. I mean, his last time out, he only went 3 innings and gave up 2 earned runs. So, I mean, I guess he didn't look fantastic in that one. I'm a little bit curious why he only pitched 3 innings in that one. I'm not 100% sure what caused that, but in general, guys, he's looked pretty good lately and pretty good over the course of the season. He did have an IL stint there, but he's back. He looked decent in his first outing. Definitely have some question marks about how he'll actually look in this game, but the Rangers pitching staff is looking red hot right now. I mean, pitching 2 shutouts in a row is definitely something to be proud of. However, the Rangers bullpen has not been good over the course of the season, guys. They're 27th in the majors with a bullpen ERA of 4.10, so that is obviously not amazing. And looking at their offense, it's been kind of a weird situation. I mean, lately they're swinging the bats really well, guys. Don't get me wrong. 6 runs, 7 runs, 2 runs, 6, 4, and 6 again. Like, this team is swinging some pretty warm bats. I mean, they're 10th in the majors in runs scored, 11th in the majors in on-base percentage. I think they have close to what it takes to be a top 10 major league offense, so we'll see if that actually pans out. They're not a fantastic slugging percentage team, so we'll just have to kind of wait and see how things progress here even deeper into the season. But in general, we don't hate what we're seeing from their offense right now, and neither do the odds makers, guys. They've got the Rangers at -102. They've got an over-under in this game of only 7.5, which is a little bit interesting. That's a pretty low number. We see the Tigers at -114. Detroit is 15-15 on the road. They're also a significant over team, guys. They're 33, 23, and 3 to the over. The Rangers are 14-13 at home with a 35, 22, and 2 mark to the under. So not super interested in the over-under in this game. I would tend to lean towards the under, I guess, if you force me to bet the over-under in this one. But in general, guys, I like the Tigers in this one. I don't have a massive amount of faith here in Eovaldi, and I have a ton of faith in Tyreek Skubal to get the job done out there. I mean, the dude has been absolutely amazing this season. So go ahead and give me the Tigers -114 with a very solid shot to end up in the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we got the St. Louis Cardinals going on the road to take on the Houston Astros. We see the Cardinals come into this game fresh off of that win there against the Phillies to salvage a single win in that series. So not exactly how they had dreamed that series would go, but overall, if you'd asked a reasonable Cardinals player or a reasonable Cardinals fan if they'd be happy winning 1 out of 3 against the Phillies, I'm pretty sure the answer should have been yes. They're going to be handing the ball in this game to Kyle Gibson, who's 4-2 on the year with a 3.60 ERA, coming off of a great start at Cincinnati, where he went 6 innings, gave only a single run on 2 hits. He looked very good out there in that one. He also looked decent in his start before that, but it was a weird outing against the Orioles where he gave up 5 hits, no earned runs, but 3 runs overall. So, I mean, not amazing there. The dude has definitely had his ups and downs this season. He's been moderately reliable. I mean, he had a pretty weird start back on the 6th against the Mets where he went 7 innings, gave up 3 runs, so not great against the Mets, but he's been decent, don't get me wrong. We're not looking at Gibson as some sort of terrible starter out there. We do have some questions about the Cardinals bullpen, though. I mean, they're 23rd in the majors with a bullpen ERA of 3.90, so that's obviously not ideal. This offense in general, guys, has come alive a bit lately, but in their series against the Phillies, things cooled off a bit, as you would kind of expect them to do. They scored 5-1, 5-1, 2, and 5 runs respectively over their last 4. So not amazing, not a disaster like they have been at times this season, but I mean, they're 28th in the majors in runs scored for a reason, guys. They're 20th in on-base percentage, so maybe some of these numbers will trend up a little bit, but I'm not super high on this offense. Really haven't had any reason to be, and they're going to need to score some runs here against the Houston Astros, who aren't having a great time, guys. They're 2-2 over their last 4. They're only 26-34 on the season, coming off of a 4-3 loss to the Twins, so That's probably not exactly what they had in mind. They're still lagging way off the pace in the AL West behind Seattle. They're handing the ball in this one to Justin Verlander, who's 3-2 on the season with a 3.26 ERA. He's coming off back-to-back very solid starts, but we got to take him with a grain of salt, guys, because they were against the A's and against the Seattle Mariners. So, I mean, his last time out against the Mariners, he went 7 innings, he had 3 hits, a single earned run. He struck out 9 in that one. He's actually struck out 9 in each of his last 2 starts. So maybe he's figuring some things out. Maybe he's like getting, I don't really want to say back on track, because it's not like he's been terrible this season in general. And I mean, the dude's a million years old. How old is he? 41 years old. So like whatever he's got left in the tank, absolutely good for him. But he's not somebody I have a crazy amount of confidence in, although he's going against a Cardinals team that's not very good offensively. The Astros are about a league average bullpen team. I mean, bullpen area of 3.54, nothing terrible, nothing amazing. Their offense has been one of the most confusing things to look at this season all year long, guys. Somehow this team is 3rd in batting average, batting .258 as a team. They're 6th in on-base percentage, getting on base at a .321 clip. They're 5th in the majors in slugging percentage, guys, slugging the ball at a .414 clip. They are somehow 12th in the majors in runs scored. Only 260 runs scored this season. Over the last few games, guys, they've scored 3, 5, 1, 4, and 1 run. Like, what is going on? Why doesn't this team score more runs? Very weird for me. I can't really figure it out, guys. It's a super weird spot. The Cardinals are plus 150 in this game with Gibson on the mound. The Astros are minus 164 here with Verlander on the mound. We see over-unders of 8.5 or 8. We see the Cardinals are only 15-17 on the road. Houston is 15-17 at home. We do see that the Cardinals are a kind of significant under team. They're 30-24-3 to the under, and coming to this game not swinging the hottest bats. We see Houston, they are MLB best to the under, guys. They are 36-21-3 to the under. So all of these things are kind of leading us towards another underplay. I mean, I think under 8.5 is very live in this game. There's 8.5s or 8 out there. Go find you one of those 8.5s, and I think it's a good spot to get something down here on the under in this game. I mean, I don't see a ton of offense going off in this one. It's definitely possible. Like, we could see, I don't think we'll see Verlander get lit up. We could see Gibson get lit up, but that hasn't been the Astros' MO this season, so I think under 8.5 has some definite value. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Cincinnati Reds going on the road there to take on the Colorado Rockies. We see the Reds come into this game fresh off of winning 2 out of 3 at Chicago, so that has to feel pretty good. They've obviously still got a lot of work to do, guys. They're only 26-33 on the season, so not a ton of positives for this team, but right now things are kind of going well. They're handing the ball in this one to Andrew Abbott, who's 3-5 on the season with a 3.29 ERA. He's coming off a pretty terrible start there against the Cardinals, guys. He went 6 innings, gave up 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 home runs in that outing. Not a good one, which was kind of a departure from what he'd been doing. I mean, his 4 starts before that were all very, very good. He hadn't given up more than 2 earned runs in any of those. So, yeah, I don't know. Kind of weird. It's definitely, I feel like, a bounce back spot for him. I mean, the dude's been good all season long. Just to have a bad outing there against the Cardinals, I don't think that really puts us in the hole and gives us a ton of doubt about how good this guy could be out there. I don't think he's going to be terrible. Something we do have to look at in this one, though, is the Cincinnati Reds bullpen. It has not been great, guys. They are the 28th best bullpen in the major leagues, with a 4.15 bullpen ERA. So that is not amazing. Not a bullpen that we're super excited about. And it's also not an offense we're excited about. I mean, over their last 3 games, they've scored 5 runs in each game. So if you can just pencil them in for 5 runs, nothing wrong with that. But in general, guys, that has not been the case this season. I mean, this team is 29th in the majors, batting .220 as a squad. They're 22nd in the majors with an on-base percentage of .303. Like, not great. They're not a good slugging percentage team, despite playing half of their games in the Great American Ballpark. They're also not a great run-producing team. They're 20th in the majors, so, I mean, I guess not bottom of the barrel. And they are swinging some slightly hotter bats here lately, but still not an offense that I'm very high on. They're going to have to score some runs here against the Rockies, you would think, although the Rockies scored 0 runs yesterday, so not a fantastic offensive performance. They've actually only scored 1 run over their last 18 innings of play, so it's not amazing. The Rockies are 21-37 on the year, handing the ball in this one to Ryan Feltner, who's 1-4 on the season with a 5.46 ERA, coming off of getting absolutely just obliterated out there by the Cleveland Guardians. His start before that was good, but it was against the Oakland A's, but his start before that was terrible against the Giants, so this kind of seems like a situation where this dude gets shelled by good offenses. However, is he taking on a good offense in this game? I would lean towards no. So looking at the Rockies bullpen, also probably not the most fun place to be a bullpen pitcher. I mean, we see the Rockies bullpen ERA is 3.70, so not amazing, not terrible. That puts them around 20th in the majors, so not a disaster bullpen, but their offense at times this year has been a disaster. And over the last 2 games has definitely been a disaster. I mean, 1 run over 18 innings, not great. They're 10th in the majors in batting average still, 17th in the majors in on-base percentage, but yeah, not a great slugging percentage team despite playing at Coors Field, which is where this game will be played. And yeah, I'm not super high on this offense. The odds makers are actually super high on a lot of offense happening in this game, though. They've got an over-under in this game of 10.5. We see the Reds are minus 134 in this game. The Rockies are at plus 114. So definitely a lot of faith there from the odds makers and Andrew Abbott to have some sort of bounce back. Guys, I don't really have much of a read on this game at all. I think Abbott will bounce back. I also think Feltner has a good chance of having a good outing here against the Reds. So weirdly enough, at Coors Field, if you wanted to take the under, I guess I wouldn't have a problem with that. I personally won't be doing that. I'm going to be leaning towards the Rockies plus 114 to have some sort of little bounce back maybe. But honestly, guys, this is not a spot that I have any interest in getting any money down on at all. I mean, I don't trust either one of these teams right now. I don't know what direction. I mean, it seems like the Reds are headed in a positive direction. The Rockies really only have one direction to head this season, so we'll just have to see what happens. Maybe I lean slightly towards the Rockies and slightly towards the under, but not interested in this game. Moving into the home stretch here on this short MLB slate, we're looking at the San Diego Padres going on the road to take on the Los Angeles Angels. The Padres come into this game fresh off of a 4-3 loss there to the Royals. They gave that one up late, so thank you Padres and thank you Royals. We had the Royals in that one, but the Padres at 32-30 probably aren't super pumped. They are coming on a little bit here lately. I mean, they're handing the ball in this game to Matt Waldron, who's 3-5 on the year with a 4.26 ERA coming off of a great start, especially for him, going up against the Marlins, where he went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits, but no runs, and struck out 8. He also didn't have a single walk in that game, which is definitely a departure from the norm for him. He tries to walk at least 2 guys a game. It looks like it's, I would say, 3, maybe 4 solid starts for him coming into this one. I mean, he even had a good start against the Dodgers back there on the 11th. He just got literally 0 run support. And yeah, I mean, starts against the Dodgers, the Braves, the Reds, and the Marlins. Obviously, the Reds and the Marlins, not elite offensive teams, but when you're having good outings against the Braves and the Dodgers, that's definitely something to take note of. And looking at the San Diego bullpen, guys, has been kind of part of their weird struggles this season. I mean, they're 24th in the majors in bullpen ERA, sporting a 3.95 ERA coming out of the pen. So that's not amazing, obviously, but their offense looks like it should be amazing. They've had their struggles this year for sure. I mean, they only scored 3 runs in Game 3 of this series, but Game 1 they scored 11, Game 2 they scored 7. So they're swinging some relatively hot bats right now, and I mean, they're 8th in the majors in runs scored, 1st in the majors batting .260 as a team. We saw Tatis Jr. hit a crazy home run, I think that was the day before yesterday. So yeah, things are looking up for them at the plate. I mean, obviously having Darvish and Musgrove on the IL is a net negative for this team, but overall, I'm swinging some pretty hot bats here, going to take on the Angels, who have now lost 5 in a row. They lost 5-1 in Game 3 of that series against the Mariners. Yeah, they lost 5-1, 9-0, and 5-4 against the Mariners. That was in Seattle, but still, this team is 21-38 on the season for a reason. They're handing the ball in this game to Tyler Anderson, who's 5-5 on the year with a 2.47 ERA coming off of a good start there against the Yankees. Not like ultra domination. I mean, he did walk 6 batters in that game, but he only gave up a single run over 5 innings. So that will definitely work against the Yankees. But yeah, it's a game his team ended up losing 2-1, so not great there. We do see the Angels are 3-2 over his last 5 starts, so I guess that's something to take into consideration. But yeah, right now, the Angels, not a team I'm super high on. I mean, their bullpen is second to last in the majors with a 4.20 bullpen ERA. This offense is obviously not great, guys. They've scored 1, 0, 4, and 3 runs over their last 4 games. Obviously, that's not amazing. 26th in the majors in on-base percentage, so I don't exactly see things trending upwards for this offense anytime in the very immediate future. Really no hitters that I'm super scared of out there. I mean, Taylor Ward is batting .265 with 11 home runs, so I guess we'll give him a little bit of credit there. But yeah, nothing too positive to write here about the Los Angeles Angels. And the numbers of this game, guys, we see the Padres at -122, the Angels at +110, which I guess makes sense with Tyler Anderson out there out on the mound. But yeah, guys, not super high on this bullpen, so the Angels +110 is not appealing to me. Over-under of 8.5 in this game, with both teams showing trends towards the over, but I'm not super stoked about any of that. So yeah, probably going to be staying away from the over-under in this game, but I'm definitely going to be God help us, on the Padres minus 122. The Padres have been a very tough team. I know they're on a lot of people's do not bet list, so if you pass on this game, I won't blame you, but I think we're going to take the Padres minus 122. I think Matt Waldron is going to be good enough out there against the Angels offense, and I also think that once the Padres get to go up against that terrible Angels bullpen, they're going to put up some runs, even if they're not able to put up any runs here against Tyler Anderson. Last but not least, guys, we're going to look at a game where we don't have complete information yet. We're looking at the San Francisco Giants going on the road to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Giants come into this game with no confirmed starter, so don't really know what to expect there. They've actually happened upon some hard times after having a really nice spurt there. They just got swept by the Yankees, so that can't feel great. They lost 7-5 in Game 3 of that series. Yeah, not amazing. 29-31 on the year, though. I guess, not terrible. I wouldn't exactly say they're within striking distance in the NL West, though. We don't know who they're handing the ball to in this game necessarily. I mean, overall, guys, we see they're 17th in the majors in quality starts. They're 26th in the majors in earned run average, so not exactly an elite pitching team. I mean, if you look at the Giants' bullpen ERA, it's not terrible. I mean, they're 10th in the majors with a 3.33 bullpen ERA, so like I said, not terrible, but not necessarily amazing. We have seen this offense kind of come alive, but yeah, I mean, in their series against the Yankees, they did score 7, 3, and 2 runs, so that's not amazing. This is an offense that I think is definitely going to be above average in the majors this year. They're batting nearly 250 as a team, getting on base at a 313 clip. Like, they aren't a great slugging percentage team necessarily, but I think they, generally speaking, can be counted on to put up some runs. They're going up against an Arizona Diamondbacks team who just won their last 2 games in a row, earning a split of that series against the Mets. Mets, not necessarily a team you want to be splitting series with. I mean, if you have actual ambitions for this season, the Diamondbacks are going to be handing the ball in this one to Ryan Nelson, who's 3-4 on the year with a 6.02 ERA. Yeah, 6 is not a number you want your ERA to start with, guys. He's coming off a pretty mediocre start against the Rangers, where he gave up 4 earned runs on 5 hits over 6 innings. He also walked 3 and struck out 3. He's walked 3 in each of his last 2 outings. He had a great start there against the slumping Dodgers, where he shut them out over 5 innings, giving up 5 hits, but he also walked 3 in that one. Start before that, he got obliterated by the Tigers. So this is not somebody we're super high on. I mean, he's definitely had his struggles this year, and so have the Diamondbacks bullpen. I mean, their bullpen ERA is 3.80. That's 21st in the majors. So yeah, not super pumped about that. And their offense, though, has been looking pretty decent. I mean, 5, 10, 9, and 3 runs in their series against the Mets. Not bad. This is a top 10 offense in terms of runs scored and on base percentage. Slugging percentage and batting average numbers definitely trending downwards. So have some questions about the longevity of how long they're going to be able to keep up these decent numbers. Not super high on the Diamondbacks offense necessarily. And looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we see no over-under is yet posted. We see the Giants at plus 116, the Diamondbacks at minus 136. We see the Giants aren't a very good road team, guys. They're only 12-17 on the road. The Diamondbacks are 13-15 at home. Do we really have much faith in either one of these teams? I mean, if you're forcing me to bet this, as I don't really have faith in either one, I guess give me the Diamondbacks minus 136 at home, but we have no idea yet. We don't have a starter confirmed for the Giants, so you'll just have to check back, see who's actually going to be out there on the mound for them, and see if this is any sort of spot we could reasonably end up betting, but I kind of tend to doubt it. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.